Good evening, Super League fans. I hope you can all hear us out there. I am joined in the studio today, or over the joys of the internet. I'm joined by Ryan. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, Martin. How you doing? Good evening, Phoenix fans, Super League fans.
Um, I think maybe have you got your sound coming out of your laptop or something like that? Because that went not very well.
I don't think so. I will double check.
Right, okay, that was much better.
Is that all
Just
right now?
Yeah, there just seems to be a little bit of an echo, but that's much better now. Okay, thanks very much. I think, anyways,
Andreas has just mentioned that my sound's off, but obviously it's better now.
yeah, better. Okay, anyways, very technical issues aside. Apologies first of all to everyone for the slight absence of any activities over the last couple of weeks. There was some traveling, some sickness, and all these kind of things. International break, let's call it that. That was, and we like Neymar and so many others, Jade and Sancho. We were just a little bit late coming back from that break, but we're back on schedule now. The update that we have with regards to that is that the planned review show in the middle of the week, this week, is going to be cancelled. And on Wednesday night, there's going to be a full set of fixtures instead, so that we can catch up, because otherwise we won't make it for the transfer window in time for Christmas, and there's going to be lots of other implications. So we're going to have a little bit of a non-review show period. Just to allow us to catch up, because there is another break again in November, and then hopefully we can push on towards Christmas. So that's the update from that. Ryan, how have you been spending your time now that there haven't been any Super League fixtures? Have you been up too much in the meantime?
Um, I'm studying at the moment. I'll be honest, I've been using the time to just try and knuckle down with that, really. Obviously, work during the week and then, studying in the evenings and enjoying a little bit of a break. I don't have much going on in the personal holidays over a while, so just trying to catch up on a bit of a personal study then, yeah.
Mm.
How was Krakow? You enjoying it?
Yeah, well, everything was fine. I mean, I literally only heard the last two or three words out of your sentence. I'm not sure what's wrong on the sound on your side. Are you on your phone or your laptop or both?
So what we can do is might make it better. 'Cause I used last time. I might just jump on the call on my phone and mute it on my laptop. That might make it a bit better.
I think that'll be I think that'll be a good idea.
Do you want to, can you? Is there anything you can kick me off and ring me back? Is that
Yes, I will do.
doable?
Yeah, I will do. Right, apologies for that, everyone. I've had to disconnect Ryan for a second there. I will try and get him back on as soon as I can. In the meantime, um, there's not a lot else that's been going on in the world of the Super League. Of course, there's been some transfer rumors. There's been some other stories about players that are happy, unhappy. But we'll try and cover some of that later on. We'll start by trying to get Ryan back on the line. Only the most professional streamers here. Hello,
Hello, is
Ryan.
that better? Hello,
Yes, hello.
hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can also hear myself.
Ah, um, da, da, da.
It's lucky that
Is
we
that
have such
better?
patient fans. Uh, I wouldn't say so, but we probably just have to crack on with it and see how it goes. I'm gonna share my screen with you as well on the phone here, so you can see that hopefully, and we'll see what happens.
Brilliant. I'll do my best. I do apologise.
No, no, no. I'm sure it's fine. And the echo has disappeared now, so yeah, all good. It sounds like we're good to go. Um, what I wanted to ask you about is that in the absence of the Super League, obviously, there's been some interesting news in the world of Chapman. Is that the Chapman 0102 people have made an update? I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit about that, maybe.
Yeah, I think they do it twice a year. They do an April update and an October update. I can see that Ardsley Athletic have downloaded it. It's something which I've well, until the Super League restarted, it's something which I was playing one of the ones from I think 13, 14. Yeah, they must put in some serious amount of time updating all the squads and yeah. So yeah, that was released on the Champman 0102 website. Say the ones I played in the past have been brilliant. I don't know what the latest one. I know there's been a few issues. Sorry, Joe, Ardsley, Celtic. Yeah, it's been in the past it's been good. I'm assuming this time, once the technical issues with getting it installed, it'll be perfect again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that people could obviously look out for in the absence of the Super League if there are other breaks. This is like an update pack for Champman where all the teams are basically updated to the current squad. So it'll be interesting to give that a go. Another things we've been looking at is the obviously the Finn Harps challenge. I don't know. You've also had a go at that yourself, haven't you?
Yes, I'm about one season in actually. I'm just got a League Cup final within my first season. I know that Joe's had about 6 seasons. I know Timmy's about 5 seasons in. It's quite an interesting challenge really, because you seem to be able to sign absolutely no one in the first season. I'm hoping that changes at the end of that and when I get into the Premier League. How are you getting on with it?
Yeah, not too bad. 5 seasons in as well. Less successful than some of the other guys, but I've done okay. And yeah, it's good to test your managerial skills because, as you mentioned, you're not able to sign just about anyone. You can obviously pick out. I mean, we said we would only sign superstars if they were scouted. Some people have obviously taken that as just parking their scout mobile outside Jamie Victory's house and waiting for him to do a few kickabouts in the garden and then signing him up and saying that he's scouted. But yeah, so it's all been good fun. And it's something that if anyone wants to give that a go, obviously Chapman Mega Save, Martin Play CM, yeah, Bolton Phoenix. There's a couple of accounts out there that are playing it. CM0102, the original CM0102 Legends, I think gave it a shot as well. But that's what's been going on in the world of non Super League Chat Manager, which we must recognize that part of the world exists as well.
Yeah, I think for the Champman Mega Save account, I think he's got the rules pinned at the top of that for anyone who wants to give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, I can see he's making comments here about Jamie Victory being unhappy in Cheltenham. I'm not pointing any fingers at anyone. It was about making it entertainment. It was a little bit different instead of people, playing with Barcelona or whatever. It was just a bit of fun. So I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. And as you mentioned, Chapman Mega Save pin tweet. I think there are some guidelines there for what we do, and if anyone else wants to give it a go and share their experience. Back in the world of the Super League. We've got the league table on screen here, I think, for everyone to see. If I can start with Bolton Phoenix, if you were to assess the season so far in your own honest opinion.
I've got but yeah, exactly. It's been terrible. It's my honest opinion. It's a home game at the start against the Sloths, who basically at that point I don't think had really grasped what the Super League was. So I kind of, in essence, I didn't play very well, but got the 3 points there. And then since then, I had a terrible time away at Valen. The keeper sent off, and I've had 3 really frustrating games against Chudley, Hodds, and BTEC, where I think I've had more shots on target. I'm not going to go as far as I do when I'm in my kind of management vibe and say I've absolutely hammered the teams, but yeah, I've had definitely more shots on target, and it's been disappointing. But yeah, on a whole, I think I probably tried maybe a little bit too much, been a bit too attacking in the first few games, and that's kind of not worked. And it's kind of like it's put me down in 12th and deservedly so at the minute. So I've not got the wins. So
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, it was really you got your one win at home and then a defeat at home. You've only had your 2 home games. You've had 3 away games, lost all 3, and are you away again today?
yes, I'm away, and it's not going to get any easier tonight. Away at Alf's Aster Athletic over in Oldham. I was actually in Oldham today in the real world, so
Oh,
yeah, I'm looking at baby stuff. But
yeah,
yeah,
well,
so it's not going to get any easier tonight. Even though Alf's playing, he's kind of saying he's putting a few reserves in. But I don't. Looking, there's no weak players in the Super League, so I know what to expect. It's going to be a really tough game. Yeah, fingers crossed. I've listened to a few people, had a chat with a few of my friends who are following it, and made a couple of changes. Hopefully that yeah, hopefully it might be able to make some kind of effect and I can get something out of the game, but we'll see. I think the majority of the people watching, especially the Super League managers, will be expecting a home win. We're under no delusions. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
We will see. We will see indeed. What do you make of the rest of the table? If I'm looking at the top there, Churchtown, who for some reason got a 3-3 draw at Swindon. Well played to Fifey and the boys there, but that was perhaps surprising. You would have maybe thought that they would have had an extra 2 points there and a slightly better goal difference. Apart from that, Hooligans, they're doing quite well. Surprising, or do
I
they
don't.
have a squad that's strong enough to be there?
I think the top three are kind of where you might expect them to be. I think pre-season, if you had to kind of go off the squads, I'd have expected Hools to be up there. I'd have expected Churchdown to be up there, and I definitely expect Aster to be up there. The ones I think, looking down the table, the ones you kind of would expect to be up in that sort of BTEC, potentially underachieving in eighth. I know they've won 2 on the bounce, so they'll be hoping they'll be up there. Ardsley, after winning the Vieira, a lot of people were kind of saying that they might be champions elect. They've had a terrible start, and I think there were not many people are fancying them to beat Swindon tonight. So yeah, I think it's one of those leagues where anyone can beat anyone. I think Aster, Churchdown, Hooligans, yeah, they've had a good start. I kind of would have expected it from those three. I think Hodds have done better than expected. I'd probably say the same about Midlothian. If you look at their squads, you think, oh, maybe that's a mid-table squad, but to be up in the top 6 is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a few teams. I mean, we as you saw yourself, some teams have had 2 home games and three away games, and that's been a challenge for them. We'll probably have a little bit of a look at that in a second. If we look at the bottom of the table, I mean, you find yourself down there. We've kind of touched on that. Ardsley Celtic, perhaps surprising. I mean, Sloths with the new manager coming in, it can be difficult, and with the Sloths curse that I kind of left from last year, that's never going to be easy. But Ardsley, perhaps a little bit surprising that they've only managed to pick up 6 points so far.
Yeah, I think Ardsley are the big shock down there. I think his squad is potentially one of the top 4 squads in the league, so it is a little bit surprising that Hodgie's down there. Yeah, I think as you touched on, I think Fifey and Rob, I think the squads aren't actually that far off. I think there's maybe some tweaks here and there, and I don't think it's going to be. I know last season we had BTEC who were kind of wallowing at the bottom for a long time. I don't think it's going to really be like that this season. I expect both Swindon and Robert Somerset to get points and to kind of, yeah, I think that much. I think the table on a whole will be much closer this season. I think that that 40-point mark may easily make it this season.
The way it's going, I mean, the points are quite sort of evenly spread out early on as well. As someone, maybe Andreas mentioned in the comments, there are 9 sides who are yet to win away.
Yeah,
that's I don't know how to handle that really. It's a bit surprising. Do you any idea why? Any suggestions?
Well, the obvious kind of thing that springs to mind is the big change in stadium size and support from last season. We had average attendances of 4,000 or 5,000 in the old Super League, whereas this one, every team's got that 50,000 capacity stadium and they've got fans. So that's definitely having a huge effect. Obviously, with the teams being quite level, you'd expect more draws, you'd expect more away wins to be in. So I think definitely the stadiums will be having a huge effect. The 2 teams which have really excelled Alf's excelled everywhere really, and Tim's had a good. He had a really good win away at me. I'm not too sure who his other away win was against, but you got to say 2 wins from 3 away games is good.
Yeah, and if you're looking at there's not really much point in looking at the teams that haven't picked up points away from home because that's most of them. so definitely the home record is important.
I will say that I thought the Bolton Phoenix were unlucky, especially away at Hodds, and we probably could have got a point away at BTEC. I thought at Hodds we probably deserved all 3. But that's my kind of Phoenix management hat thinking, we deserve more than we actually got. But
Yeah, but
there we
there's
are.
perhaps I mean that's perhaps a fair point. There are a couple of teams that where I think could maybe have could have scraped at least a point or maybe even gotten a win or two away from home. Is it just the stadium? Is it attacking? I mean, there's also, like you mentioned, there's also really no draw, so it doesn't seem like there's anyone who's playing like ultra defensive or anything. It seems as if everyone is kind of giving it a go. I suppose everyone wants to get as many points as soon as possible rather than playing it safe.
Potentially, I think that's probably been my issue. Really, I've tried to make more of a statement about playing attacking than actually thinking, let's just get the 3 points here.
Mm,
Yeah, it's definitely having an effect. I think people are being a lot more sensible at home.
yeah,
They're going with tried and tested tactics that know that work in the Super League well, and yeah, that home advantage along with the right tactics is obviously that's what's driving it.
yeah. I mean, you're looking at it, and maybe for you personally, it wouldn't have made so much difference. We can see Bolton Phoenix here. I mean, you've got 3 points from five. If you'd converted two of those defeats to draws, then you would have had 5 points and you would have still been in 12th. But we'll see if you'll be able to improve on that tonight. Obviously. I think we should probably get started with some action here. So
We should, yeah.
apologies to everyone for the slight technical issues there in the beginning. And we'll obviously see if we can deal with that later on, so we don't run into so much of that in the future. Now, for the next technical problem is me trying to start the correct games in the correct order, which is also not always going so well, but we'll certainly give it our best shot. Ardsley Celtic, they're missing Tristan with his 5 goals in the first 5 games. Do you think Morientes and Hussein, if we're looking at the tactics here, do you think that's sufficient cover for Tristan, or will they just be missing him too much?
Well, Dario Hussein isn't someone who I rate at all, if I'm being honest. Morientes, for me, is a fantastic second striker. So, I mean, if you give him a trade, you got him up with Raul. If you sign him for someone else, he's great. He gets a few assists, gets a few goals. Great player. Dario Hussein's not there for me, and the fact that he's got, I think it's just been mentioned, Riquelme on the bench. I'd even put Riquelme up top with Morientes over Dario Hussein. However, looking at his team overall, he's got 2 solid defenders. He's got a really strong midfield. His wing backs aren't bad at all. He's got a really strong team. It's a team that should be winning. Yeah, I think on paper he's got a really strong 10, maybe 9, 10 players there. But as Ian's just said in the chat, there's no guarantees.
Yeah, and some interesting wing back instructions as well. We'll see how the fitness levels hold up for them.
Yes, it's a long run up there, isn't it? So potentially 5 up top when he's going forward.
Yeah, and he hasn't got any wing backs on the bench, so we'll see. We might see Sadov and Milevsky moving out there later on, depending on how they hold up. But I'm gonna try this one. That seems to have gone okay. And then we've got them up against Swindon. So the Devils finally got a point in their last game. Do you expect them to continue their good form, or is that a one-off for them? I mean, they're going with a diamond here, recognizable.
Well, I don't know. He's been talking about selling Di Roberto this week. So I don't know. He's got some players that can make a difference. Those 2 up front can score goals in Champman at any level. So you'd expect goals in this game. Whether that midfield 4 is strong enough for me is something that I really do question. Zidane's great. Elmander Oliveira can be asked, so I just don't think are going to cut it. I'd also say that he's probably not playing his best defenders. Amoruso looking at his squad, he's probably his 5th best central defender, and he's starting along with Taribo. He's got Ugo Ekiog there. I think he's got Mendes as well, who are both should be starting ahead of Amoruso for me. The fullbacks are good. Zeriberto, I think probably better at the DML level. Pancaro, yeah, I understand what he's doing, and I wish him the best.
Okay.
I think if you had to push me, I think I'd expect a home win here, just for the quality that Hodgie's got throughout the squad.
I was gonna ask what your predictions were. So let's try and kick off the game, and we'll see. Oh gosh, what is going on? Is this where we have to kick?
I think from memory, do we? Oh God, do we
Have I done this again wrong now? Haven't I?
change to? Have you? Yeah.
Yeah,
If
they've already.
you change to one of them, then it should let you. Can you? Will it
Oh
let you change to any of them?
no, it wouldn't let me change to one of them. I'm not. I need to get Stephen on to fix this for me. Anyway, let's take them as they pop up then, so we don't have to worry about this so much. Apologies for this, Stephen. It looks like you're going to be last. And Hodgie, I promised Hodgie he's working. I promised him he'd be first on. Okay, so I'll have another course of this. So apologies for everyone watching. This is just par for the course now, apparently. If we speak about hooligans instead.
Well, in your notes to me, you've said unbeaten since the opening day, 3 wins on the trot. Has Thiago found the ingredients to match his unchanged recipe for success? And I think you're probably right. I think that's probably summed it up. He's got a really premium squad. That attacking five, and I'd say including Mendieta and Emerson, really, I mean, maybe 7, are probably up there with the best in the league. Really, really, really strong team. And if he gets them playing week in, week out, if he keeps Anelka happy, I can see him really pushing up there, maybe even getting, if not in the top 6, definitely probably even the top 2 or even winning it. I'm looking at the comments quickly there. Elba in for Anelka, Palmer says, I probably agree with him. And I probably have Kloss in for Kiotis, but apart from that, I think he's got really strong lineup. Not convinced by Gamara and Desai, but the rest of the team are fantastic.
Yeah, he does have Sol Campbell out for about 6 months, I think, or something like that, with an injury. So we'll see if he comes when or if he comes back in, obviously. If we look at BTEC's side, they've been blown hot and cold, like you said, perhaps a little bit underachieving, but they still have 3 wins from 5, so it's not all bad for them. How do you see that? Ian's lost patience with Inzaghi finally, which is got to be a good thing.
Well, you can't. He said, I think quite publicly, I think he thinks his best striker is Constantino. I tend to agree with him. And Pizarro's been fantastic. He keeps scoring goals. So, yeah, I think dropping Inzaghi is a no-brainer. Again, it's easy. I think there's definitely there's about 6 or 7, including BTEC teams in this league who could, in essence, should be up there winning it. So it's obviously you're only going to get one winner and 2 in the top 2. I think this game, Hooligans BTEC, is 2 of the strongest teams in the league. I think someone mentioned, Fifey put in his little poll on Twitter as kind of which game you ought to look forward to the most. And I say outside my own game, which I probably never look forward to, this is the game I wanted to see because it's the league leaders. The 2nd versus 7th, is it? But I think Hools will be up there pushing Aster towards the end of the season. And I think BTEC will definitely be in the top 6. So.
Yeah. So your predictions for this, I guess, it's something that BTEC have to really win or get a draw if they want to keep in touch with the top teams, and if Hooligans are going to show title aspirations early on, then they should also win this one. So how do you see this one going?
I actually see I see a home win mainly because exactly they're at home. I think it's actually going to be because of the squad strength of both teams. It might be relatively low scoring, potentially 2-1 or 2-0, 1-0. It could easily be a draw. It's hard one, but I'd probably say Thiago might just edge it. But just picking up on a point there, I think it's way too early to be kind of seeing now after 1 results, even after 6 or 7 results, where teams are going to be finishing. I think that, I'm probably saying that for more of my own benefit, really. I think.
Yeah, there's obviously plenty of points to play for, but let's see how this one goes. Apologies for those who are expecting Ardsley against Swindon. It's going to be Hooligans against BTEC. It's going to be our first game of the evening. So let's kick this one off and see how this goes. Narrow win for Hooligans predicted by Ryan there. So we'll see how the predictions hold up. Nice BTEC kit. I'm kind of liking the green and gold thing.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the comments Australia. It's Yeah,
Yeah, it could be one. Oh,
we're
and
playing in
there's
the Australian Super League, so
yeah, and Mendieta with the first goal, and Aymar with the second just before half time.
yes, I actually inquired with Thiago about Mendieta, and he told me where to go. Uh, yeah, it's two fantastic players there in Mendieta and Aymar. Probably two of the best in their positions in the league. I think he had the majority of it the first half. See Mendieta's playing a 9 there.
Yeah, just
Yeah, they look really strong, don't they?
yeah, they definitely do. I mean, Mendieta's really been boss in that area. He's got a 9 already at halftime, which has got to be good. Beckham got a yellow card. We'll see what happens in the second half with that. If there's anything of note.
No, I see there's no assists there, so it looks like maybe some long shots on for Thiago.
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, if we're looking at how the goals went in, Mendieta gathered up the loose ball, and Aymar picked up the loose ball. So maybe a bit of defensive rubbish from BTEC there. Abiati not covering himself in glory either.
After he had a fantastic week last week as well, which is frustrating. I wish he'd have played a 5 against me, but yeah, I think he's not out of it. I think he'll need a really strong second half, but yeah, he's not out of it just yet.
Yeah, well, not so much positive to say for BTEC really. So we'll kick it off, and hopefully they'll be able to, hopefully for them rather, they'll be able to catch up in the second half. But it's looking difficult. And nothing yet from Constantino or Constantino.
Yeah, nothing from the Greek lad. I think we'll go.
We'll go with that. Oh, and there's if he can get an Elka in form, then it's
yeah, he's some player. He's in form. He's whatever you do, don't take him off.
yeah, exactly.
You've got
Dennison,
Denilson on back there.
yeah, but
And
Ronaldinho,
that's fourth. Big Ron playing well for him.
yeah, he's been one of the best, I think.
Yeah, it was a bit. My biggest deal in the preseason really was to bring in Veron for Ronaldinho. Obviously, he's getting the most out of Ronaldinho. I just need to start getting the most out of Veron now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit lost, not lost for words, but I kind of thought that BTEC would have done a little bit better here, but it seems as if Hooligans had that pretty much under control from start to finish, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah,
only
dominated them.
9 goals. I mean, if you say anything, you could say they might be unhappy that the only shot on target actually went in.
Yeah, I don't think Thiago will be too bothered about that. We'll probably get a quick video saying a message to the haters, telling them to be quiet. But yeah, really strong performance. Just two 7s there. Everyone else is 8s and 9s. I think he'll be over the moon with that, especially against a really strong BTEC team.
Yeah. And assists for Beckham and the one for Ronaldo as well in the second half. I mean, perhaps a little bit surprising there's no 10s in there. If you get a 4-1 win and there's no 10s, what's that?
Yeah, you just noticed there's no one player who got an assist and a goal, or no one got 2 goals. That's probably the reason why there's no 10s, and he didn't get a clean sheet either. But yeah, I think we spoke about this before. I think you mentioned on the broadcast you're not a huge fan of Beckham in the centre midfield, are you? But I think for me, on the original game, maybe not on the update, but on the original game, he's really strong there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like it's
might just be a personal thing for jealousy of his handsomeness or something like that. But I just never thought much of Beckham in the game. But he's obviously doing well for Hooligans here. For Ian, any positives to take away from this one?
Well, Denilson got a goal. He's a great player. I don't think he's not got too many positives to take away from it, really. 4 goals conceded. He won't be happy with that. None of his strikers scored. Constantino, his main man, only got a 6 there. So, yeah, I think he was disappointed. But it's an away game. I think you've got to put your team out there and I mean, cross your fingers and hope you get something. But it's not really going to be. Not away at Hooligans. It's a tough game to get anything.
It's a tough one.
Lassisi got a 5 there. No, he was you think he picked him up on a pre-season after someone released him?
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of people sort of singing his praises, but and I think he has done pretty well so far in the league, but not today. And Vogel as well, not not really doing it. Perhaps a little bit, maybe too much space. And I don't know. The diamond seems to be quite popular with this four-man midfield setup. It seems to be relatively popular. Perhaps it's a tactic that maybe works slightly better in home saves than in the Super League. But we'll see how it goes for the rest of the evening.
Potentially, it's against as people call it the half track thing. It's the thing that Thiago and Alf play. It's I think low scores from the fullbacks, maybe because of the fact that they're not really got. I think someone's put in the comments there. Tim's put no one to mark. The idea is that do they end up rather than using all the space they've got for attacking, do they end up just being out there doing nothing
Hanging
while
about.
they get
Yeah.
in midfield?
Aster Young, maybe.
Yeah, they've both scored eights there, so they must have got some joy. But
must have done something. I mean, there's a few headers won and things like that, so maybe they're tucking in. Either way, not a great night for BTEC. Brilliant result for Hooligans, and it looks as if we're off to Edinburgh next for our game between, let's see, Midlothian and the Sloths. So.
I'm actually looking forward to this one. Should be a bit of a good one. I'm hoping. I mean, I really like Ian. I think he mentioned in one of his tweets pre-game that we've done a few deals together. He's got a really strong, really good defensive team. But I mean, I've got to admit, I'm really hoping that Rob can get something tonight. I think he's deserved more than he's got so far. Which I mean, so I'm really hoping he gets something.
Yeah, but it is a bit of a fortress that Ian's got here up in Scotland. I mean, I don't think he's conceded at home yet, so that's perhaps a tricky place to come for a team that haven't scored yet. Really, I think was it one from open play or was it disallowed? I can't even remember now. That's perhaps not the easiest, but we did see Swindon turn it around against Churchtown last week, so it could possibly happen.
He's so good at the back, though, isn't he? Hoffland and Montero, fucking yeah. Sorry, my language, but they're fantastic. That's a great partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if TMA Colompe can't get a game, then he's got loads of depth there.
Yeah. He's not playing Addo on left back. I mean, he had some success with that.
Yeah, it's a strange one. He got Gerrard at right wing back as well. I think he plays better. Probably where Gattuso's playing at the moment. But I still think that he's more than adept defensively. Probably not the right word. He's got more than enough there.
I think the logic was that Scally had been playing awful, to be fair, in the first couple of games. I mean, he'd gotten the good results, but Neil Scally, for some reason, had been playing well. So in the DMC, so he put Addo in there. And Kewell stays on despite being, I think he's got a 6.25 average from his first 4 games. So, but he's keeping faith in Kewell, even though he's got Kjellström on the bench.
Harry Kewell's a class act on this game.
Yeah.
I think he's, in my opinion, he's probably one of the, I'd say, top 6 or 7 AMCs, AMLs on the game. It's probably, I've actually gone in for him and agreed to transfer with him, so I'm hoping that his form does turn around in the second half of the season. I don't mind what he does now for the next few games, but after his transfer, then I hope he picks up. He's got the 2 up front there, Kesman and Penzo, who they get a lot of praise on in the Super League, mainly because of I think how well they performed last season. For me, and I probably get my ass handed to me in the comments here, but they've never really done it for me on my home says. I'd be interested to hear what people think about. Do you mean did Mpenza just have a great season last year because he was at Haller? Does Kesman do it every season at home? I don't know. I think that his attack isn't as strong as it could be. But his defense is fantastic. So
yeah. And if we look at the Sloths, Rob has gone with some arrows. He's got some arrows on here today.
I just wish that Brozek's and Rivaldo's arrows were pointing forward. I just wish that. I don't know what's going on there. I actually don't mind the formation on the whole. It's 3 at the back is an interesting one without wing backs. Yeah, I actually think it looks better than it has done in previous weeks. I just think if Brozek and Rivaldo's arrows were pointing forward, I think he put some real pressure on, because those 3, Rivaldo at the start of the game is fantastic. Vieira is probably top 3 strikers on the game. Therefore, yeah, I'm hoping he can cause problems. Again, I think the issue is going to be across that midfield line.
Hmm.
Solari, Simeone, Jorgensen, not there. I don't think Brozek's there season 1 either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. And I really do hope I hope he gets something right.
So prediction wise, how do you see this one going? Are Midlothian going to keep their clean sheet, or will this be the night for Sloths?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I'm going to say Midlothian 1, the Somerset Sloths 2. I think they're going to do it tonight. Rivaldo and Vieri.
Right. Well, we'll kick it off, and we'll see what happens. They had the first chance for sure,
Yeah.
which is unusual because they normally don't have that many chances. This is perhaps not gone well.
Oh God. Uh,
I mean, he does have Crespo on the bench, so I guess he'll be okay. But that was perhaps not what he really needed.
well, it's not a bad substitution to have, is it? I don't know why he's. I mean, I know he's getting rid of him for whatever reason. But yeah, I think until he gets rid of him, he should be playing. Tim just put Crespo best not get injured. I kind of.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's
For
obviously.
9 months might not be a bad.
Oh well, there's Crespo. That's Crespo getting in there,
Yeah, him
getting
and
in
George.
amongst it. A goal from open play. Who would have thought it?
He's playing well here actually. He's
No,
definitely been up for it.
he probably didn't need that.
Oh no, didn't. Michael Ballack is the obvious thing, and drop maybe Brozek. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
Simeone
thinking maybe.
DMC, or?
I was thinking maybe just putting Simeone a little bit further back, and then I don't think it'll make a. I think.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know. I say, I don't know. It's just it's 1-0 up. I think I'd be more inclined to take an AMC off. But I mean, you're in charge. You're in charge. I'm not gonna influence you.
I'm gonna do this and see what happens. I've made many successful substitutions in the past, so we'll see how he keeps it. He's been doing well so far, and I mean Crespo's on an 8, Simeone's on a 6, perhaps a little bit aggressive. There's a few yellow cards flying in there. Let's have a look at the.
Aggressive on this game, haven't you? That's probably. Yeah, I think the benefits outweigh the flaws. Really, every now and again you get a red card, but I think you get beat off more often than not. But you've got to look at those stats, though. He's had a great first half. He's not conceded any chances really to Midlothian. So, yeah, up the Sloths.
Yeah, well, it's they've been talked up on social media for definite. So there's some positive takes there. Midlothian winning 90% of their tackles and not having much to show for it, to be honest. Looking at their stats, anyone that stands out for you, or has it just been sort of a little bit mediocre?
Yeah, it has been a little bit mediocre, really. So obviously they've got as I talked up the defence, and 90% of the tackles they've got them there. But once they get into midfield and going forward, they're not really performing. Which is, I mean, it's kind of the opposite of the commentator's curse. It's kind of what I alluded to before the game, which is a strange one for the Super League. Yeah. I don't think he'll be devastated with that first half performance, but I don't think he'll give up hope just yet.
I mean, there's a full 45 minutes against 10 men at home. There should be something maybe to come back for. I'm gonna leave it to run because I mean it's going all right so far.
Yeah.
And
Mario Yepes, an 8 at the back, fantastic for them. He's a good player.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, Burns, I think he's in the middle, so he's bound to get a low score, isn't he? That guy always gets a low if you play in 3 at the back, unless you play sweeper, in case anyone's interested. If you want your central defender in a back 3 to get good points, play him as a sweeper and find out how it works, and you'll get good results from that.
You're really trying to push this sweeper role, aren't you, Mike?
Yeah. Well, I've put so many hours into it, then I need to get some recognition, I think. We'll kick off the second half anyway, and see how it goes for the Sloths. I mean, obviously, still all to play for. The way that it's been going for Midlothian, though, they need to pick it up, don't they?
They do. They've had the best of the first part, the first 15, 20 minutes, but no goals as yet. So I'm looking between two screens here. So.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Yepes, what are you doing?
An own goal.
What are you doing?
Oh gosh,
What
that's
is this?
terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry for mentioning he played well.
Oh, and Impenza with the
Oh, man.
with the heartbreaker there. Maybe any chances
Come
for
on,
Sloths?
Somerset, get one back.
Nope.
Oh, what is this? I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. You think you've turned things around. You're thinking this could be my game. Maybe this is when we pick up our first 3 points. Crespo comes on for the injured Vieri. Van Bronckhorst gets sent off. Jeppe scores an own goal, and Impensa just hammers a couple of nails in the coffin down at the in the last sort of dying minutes of the game there. Um,
Yeah.
nice comeback from Midlothian, I guess.
Yeah, yes, talk about Midlothian and talk about the positives there. They kind of showed a bit of character in the second half. Playing against 10 men, you'd kind of expect them to come back into it at home to Sloths. But it's different from expecting it and actually happening. So you got to give him credit for that. Yeah, great performance from Impenza. He's got the goals. So yeah, I think after half time when he might have been a bit worried, end of the game he'd be over the moon. I think the red card definitely had a huge effect. I think as Ian's just alluded to in the chat, yeah.
Yeah, the red card definitely.
Somerset were well on top first half, so and he's been completely destroyed second half, so he'll be gutted.
Either way, I mean, there's positives to take from that for Sloths. I think, I mean, it seems that they found at least a starting formation that kind of worked. Maybe go and have a look at whether hard tackling is such a good idea if that's the setting he's got on. But there's definitely, I mean, it's better than what they've done in the first 5 games, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's definitely their best performance of the season. There's no questions there.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the better team that first half, and without the red card, you'd kind of put them as favourites. But okay, the red card changed it.
Yeah.
And then he's conceded that own goal, which is always when you're winning away from home and you concede an own goal, you're like, oh, it's such a kick in the teeth, really. But yeah, I think he'll be encouraged by that. He's definitely got a squad there which can perform a lot higher up the table than a lot better than what it has been doing so far this season. I think he'll be encouraged. Hopefully,
Yeah, and a lot less sixes than what he's been used to. I mean, Van Bronckhorst with a 6 in Vieri, that's kind of par for the course when you get injured or get sent off. Simeone with only a 6, but he was left quite alone, to be honest. And then Christian Burns with a 6 as well. But I mean, Jorgensen with an assist, that was perhaps a bit of surprising, and then at least Crespo comes in and scores. So something to look forward to for Sloths for next week. But if we
for
look
the
at
next week, yeah, but not for much longer after that because I can't believe he's actually let him go. But there we are.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things. I mean, they are kind of spoiled for choice when it comes to players in some areas, Sloths, but obviously that could soon change if the right signings aren't made. Van der Vaart, obviously, a 9 and a man of the match out there on the left fullback. That's a bit of a surprise for me, but fair play to him. Got an assist as well.
Yeah, Raphael van der Vaart is he's fantastic on the game. One of my favourites on my home saves, and he's I would never really deploy him at left wing back, but I think Ian's got quite a bit of faith in his formation with all the DMs, like I say, all the defensive midfielders. So if you're going to play him, then you've got to kind of play him there because he's not going to. Who's he got? AMC. He's got Harry Kuehl there. So I'd probably start Kuehl ahead of him at AMC. So if you want to fit him in the team somewhere, so if you can only fit him in the team at left wing back, and that's where you got to play him. I'd definitely start him there ahead of Eric Addo, but.
Yeah, and Addo did okay. He got a 7 in the middle, so good. I mean, you could say maybe he's had 4 easy-ish home games. I don't know if they were all easy, but that's 4 home games for Ian there, and he's won all 4, and he's got to be happy with the start that he's made to the season. Obviously, having 4 home games is a big advantage, but 12 points is 12 points. So
Exactly,
fair play to him. Fair play to him there.
As Ian will say, you can only beat what's in front of you, and he seems to be doing that without too many problems really at home.
And it looks as if we've got Yeah, it's time. It's time to have a look at Aster Athletic and their starting lineup here and their formation. So what do you make of it? Bartes is still between the sticks despite the unrest and rumors of transfer, etc. Apart from that, Aster machine is looking tidy and unstoppable in some people's opinion. Whether that were mind games or not, I don't know. Have you
No,
got anything to add?
his team's fantastic, isn't it? You'd say that you could have probably more marquee strikers. That's the only thing you could say where you'd improve. Nestor Babel are fantastic at the back. I'm be honest, I'm a fan of Barthez on the game, so um, the kind of unrest and concern about that and the fact that he's transferring him out is a bit of a strange one to me. But yeah, I wish he'd have gone before the game, really. But there we are. Yeah, but I mean, Del Piero, Bowyer, Zanetti. I know he's playing Biscan, but Biscan's a fantastic player. Nestor at the back. He's got quality throughout that team, and I mean, you're talking some of the best players in their position on the game. He's not even got Emerson on the bench, which I don't know if that's due to injury or just because he thinks he's pitying me. Either way, I'm going to thank Alf there for that one.
Yeah,
But
well, I'm sure you would rather have seen Jamie Langfield in goal instead of Fabian Barthez, but that's unfortunately not how that's worked out. So this is how Alf lines up. The formation, of course, we know we're familiar with. Um, you have kind of you've not dropped Raul and Figo, but you moved them more centrally. Um, any particular reason for this, or is this your way of trying to counter the narrow formation, or how do you process your formation coming up to a game like this?
well, the thoughts are is maybe not something that works on a home save is necessarily going to work in the Super League, really. So yeah, it's a bit of a change around. It's something not too dissimilar from what I put out against the Crayons a few weeks back. Um, yeah, it's just something I thought I give a strong spine throughout the team, and then use Dede and Zambrata on the wings. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just my kind of way of thinking that get three up front when we're going forward. That should provide enough threat. Solid in the midfield with Zanoni and Veron, wing backs who can put crosses in. I don't know, a bit more of a sensible formation. I think it's probably more Super League than some of the wide AMLs, AMRs that I've been playing in the past.
Mm. Well, it'll be interesting to see how the fullbacks get on. I mean, obviously we saw them earlier getting some runs and doing some things and not really preventing the opposition from scoring. So we'll see. But Dede and Sambrata are probably two of the better fullbacks in the game. So we'll see how we can we'll see how we get on with this one, shall we? And just kick it off
Yeah,
and instead of
I'll
all
just
the chat.
say before yeah, just reading Tim's comment, the peer pressure for Zambrota. I've nothing against Zambrota. I mean, I think you're right. I signed Zambrota kind of ahead of Baumarp. I'm a big fan of him. It was just the idea that what was working on my home save with Neville wasn't really hasn't really transpired into something that's translated into something that's worked in the Super League. So Zambrot was always going to be a part of the Phoenix. I've kind of brought him in to play that position. And it's more that the fact that Neville can play centre back, and I've got a couple of issues at the centre back this week through low fitness kind of thing. That's the reason why I've made that change. But I'm a big fan.
Hmm. Well, we'll definitely see how it goes. So if you're ready, then we'll kick it off and we'll see how I'm not going to ask you for the prediction. Obviously, it's going to be an away win, isn't it? So we'll kick it off and we'll see how you get on against Aster and their kind of scary start to the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. See what we got.
Oh, there was a debate about a penalty there early on, I think,
Yeah,
and they're
come on.
creating the usual chances. It certainly looks like. The question is
Come
just
on.
if you can get one, if you can take one of your chances, then maybe there'll be
Starting to
something
come
in
into
there.
it a bit now. We're starting to come into it. Come on, lads.
A good save there, I think. Nick Matulin.
Yeah, he comes in for a bit of flack in the comments. I quite like him though.
Yeah, that's a couple of good. Sabrata and Dede creating a couple of good chances here, so you can't be too unhappy with that, can you? At halftime, 0-0.
0-0. I just need my forward players to start getting some shots on target, which was the issue against BTEC last week. Alf, as always, you never expect to kind of to walk all over Alf. He's solid as always. He's created. Nick Matulin's played all right first half, but yeah, I can't say I'm too disappointed at half time, 0-0, and yeah, created a little bit.
And a bit of what can we call it, redemption maybe for Gary Neville there with his 8 so far.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's that Gary Neville played an 8 last week. I think he's been performing well. He definitely got a 7, I think, last week. Yeah, it's just the idea is he's a good player. He'll play where he needs to play. He's a good. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And Fowler on if Henry hasn't scored at halftime. Does that still stand?
If I sent it, then that's what needs to be done, doesn't it? I'm not gonna go back on it.
So we'll see how Robbie Fowler fares in the second half. If we're looking at Aster's stats, I mean they've not been. You've kept them kind of low. You've kept Brooking to 4 touches. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wish he had a few more 6s, maybe one from Barthez, but yeah. Oh, yeah. Overall, he's got 1 8, and that's from a defensive midfielder. I think there's some talk about red cards in the comments, which is quite funny. Yeah, I'll be honest. As long as Viscan doesn't score in the second half, he's had a quite quiet first half, which I'm happy with. Yeah, Nikolai, Boyer haven't really been in the game too much. Del Piero's had a bit too much of the ball. In my own opinion, I wish we could mark him a bit tighter. But yeah, overall, I'm not too unhappy, and just hope it's not too dissimilar in the second half, and the odd goal wins it either way.
We'll hope for a bit more goal action in the second half, and we'll kick that off.
I hope you're wrong.
Well, you got one there. You got one, Raul, with Bolton taking the lead away from home.
That's a captain's performance. This, come on, lads, come on.
And it seems as if the defense is holding. No.
No, what is this? To score! Why won't you send to score? Oh, devastated.
Oh gosh, that was a shame. I mean, it's brought the not the steamroller to a grinding halt, but you've certainly ensured that it won't be a clean sweep for Aster Athletic here. So that was a strong performance by your side there.
I'll be honest, I'm honest. It's one of those. I'm happy with the point, but after that, I mean, I feel like I should have won that. Come on, I'm gutted that. I'm gutted there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. I mean, it's part of the commentating on a game. Like, we can't sit in silence here. I had to say something. I know that it seemed that the timing was poor, yeah, but that's what always happens. But another, not quite as last minute as the Cannons game last week, but another last minute.
He's so tough to beat, isn't he? He knows what he's doing. Probably, you've got to say, he's top manager in the league at the minute. Top team in the league, and yeah, all credit to him. Close game, and he's got a point out of it. I probably say I've been very lucky to get all 3 points looking at the shots on target there. So yeah, 1-1, probably a relatively fair result. Yeah, looking at his passes completed, tackles won. Yeah, it's been a good close game. Well, look at Palmer's comment at red card waiting to happen to the Phoenix. Only 1 yellow card in the entire game, so I don't think it's there.
Yeah, we'll have a look at how the goals came about. It looks as if Raul just went. Well, it says Fowler got an assist. Maybe headed the ball down for Raul, who then went past Nesta and Koku and got a low shot in. Did Fowler get an assist for that? Yeah, he did. Okay, okay, champ man. Let's not argue over it. So a decent halftime substitution, and then what happened for the goal at the end here? Nicolas squared the ball. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, he did a bit of pressure, telling on the defence kind of thing. I think he was putting pressure on. I think he'd have been a bit gutted if he hadn't got at least a point from that game. So yeah, I think I'm not going to say I'm too unhappy. Looking at my defensive ratings there, a couple of 8s and a 9, and an 8 for the keeper. Come on, I think I'd be absolutely, to say that I should have won that. would be a bit of a piss take. So yeah.
But still, now you see how for anyone else out there watching, thinking, how can I counter Aster Athletic? What can I do? You just need to make sure that your central defenders and your fullbacks and your goalkeepers all get 8s or 9s. Then you'll be fine.
Yeah,
So
a big shout to Gary Neville there, a 9. And Robbie Fowler's actually on his way to Aster. Actually, Alf's me and Alf have come to an agreement. So a parting assist, which is quite nice against the team he's joining, which is
yeah, so I mean, good result. I think a good result for you there, considering the start you've had to the season as well. And if you look at Alf's Astra Athletic side, their performance, it was only really, I mean, I was unsure when he came in the first game, and then he did exceptionally well. Brookink, I'm still not sure about Brookink, why he's playing when he's got basically half of his squad, in my opinion, are better than Brookink. But he's
I'm
got to
not
say.
I'm not certain I agree with you. I quite like Brugink, if I'm being honest.
You wouldn't play him in front of Ariel Ortega, though, would you? Really?
No, but I mean, this is the thing I don't understand with Alf, because I sent numerous messages about Ortega. I mean, I offered him some good deals pre-season for Ortega, and he just ignored me or rejected every single one. Then he doesn't play him, so it's like I don't know where to go with it really. But yeah, I mean,
Fifey is a Brookink fan, according to the comments. I don't know if that's good or if that's a recommendation or not. But
Fifey doesn't play the game.
Oh well.
I mean, I must admit, I like Brugink. He's a good player. Whether he should be playing, I think he should be playing with Ortega. I think that I'd have, do you mean Del Piero up top potentially with Alan Smith, rather than Nikolai, who, yeah, Nikolai's not a bad player, but he's definitely not Ariel Ortega in the game. So yeah, but it's what I can't. Who can question Alf? He's top of the league, deservedly so. Could have easily won that game. So. Yeah. I think we're all novices come to him when it comes to compared to him.
But a good result. I think a good result for you. Whether you'll be a little bit gutted in the way that you conceded that last minute goal there, but I think on reflection, I mean, you're the first team to take points from Aster, so you got to be somehow satisfied with that.
Oh, indeed, yeah, indeed. And if you're right, it's just how it happened rather than that it happened kind of thing. If it was in the 75th minute and I've been holding on for the point and I've been over the moon, because it was the 88th minute, then here we are. Yeah. So right, I might just have a quick nap now while this one's on. I think it's
This is the Sports Direct Classico. Are you kidding me? It's gonna be it's a game of the evening according to the poll that Fifey ran earlier. There's always going to be a bit of fun when some of the bigger characters of the league clash, if we can call it that. We'll see how much of a clash or a splash it'll be. Parma's going back to one at the rear. Are you surprised about that, or how do you see
really?
that?
I think he sees Tim and the Crayons as a marquee game, and he likes showing off his one at the back formation when it comes to these marquee games. So I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, I'm surprised that he's selling his brilliant defender, Cannavaro kind of thing. And then I don't know. I kind of agree with Andreas in the comments. Ashley Life is rubbish.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. I'm not surprised. I think he's got a good 11 there. Mm-hmm. So anything's possible. Ambrosini's a good player. George Atos, Salhamovic, good players. Patrick Power, Ashley Life, not Super League players in my opinion. Nedved, probably better AMC than centre midfielder, but he wants to play that formation, then yeah, it's not a bad 11.
Yeah, and difficult to. I mean, if you got to try and make space for, I think Nikiforenko and Sand have got 3 goals each. I think there is his top scorer so far.
He can't drop it.
Probably gonna have to keep them in. So no crazy crisscrossing arrows or anything like that. It's one at the rear.
More sensible than previous weeks, but not still one at the back.
Yeah, it's still and considering that Timmy's gone with 3 up front, then and he's also got 5 across the DMC line there. That seems that's a new trend for me. I think 5 across that DMC line. So this is really I don't know what to call this kind of formation. There's a big space in the middle there.
Yeah, it's something which I would never have even considered trying until, I'll be honest, you kind of have a look on that Champman0102 website, and you get a lot of the players. I know a lot of them on there, which use the kind of modified tactics, which I think is cheating in my opinion. But it's something that they always say that DMCs are kind of really overpowered on this game, and then you can have as many of those as you can, and you'll play well. The three up top is something which I'm not a huge fan of, but he's got Rossini and Comandini, who are both great. Kuchkov, not a huge fan of, but he's got a strong team. I think this will be a close game, really. Again, I'd probably say he's got his best goalkeeper on the bench. I know I said that a few weeks ago, and then Westerveld had the game of his life against me. So, but yeah, he obviously knows what he's doing. Van Bommel's a great player. Baumer's a great player. This will be a close game.
Yeah. You have any predictions? A close game, so a draw, or what do you think?
I think just I mean, a boring 0-0. To be honest, is what I expect.
We'll see if there's goals in it. I'm thinking goals with one at the rear against three strikers. There's got to be one. I mean, we saw earlier this season when Fife thought that Palmer would go one at the rear, and he played a bunch of strikers, and Palmer didn't, and it didn't go well for Fife. This time, Cannons have put three up against the one defender, so it'll be interesting. But we'll kick it off and see how it goes.
It's 5 DMCs though. That's the thing. Whoa, early goal.
Early goal for Nedved.
Yeah. So so maybe it's the other way around, but here we go. One.
And Liverani straight back at
it. I knew that would happen. One apiece. But it's definitely not going to be 0-0. I think the Palmer had a chance there almost.
I mean, it does seem as if he's had slightly better of the chances, I think. Oh, and Ebesan scores there.
In the informed man, Ebesan, good goal.
Exactly.
And he's just edged it. I think it's relatively close. I mean, it's only half time, but yeah, I think he's just about edged it. Good first half, really, better than I expected. Can't knock either side.
No, lots of chances for either side. Perhaps not. The quality's perhaps not been the best from some. I mean, Cannavaro with a 6. Ashley Live, Nicky Franco.
Cannavaro with a 6. He's joining his new club, isn't he? So it's he's probably kind of taken a backhander already and thought I'll lie down. So he's got no defenders there. Panathinaikos, and he's still winning 2-1. Nicky Franco is the shocker, really, because he's fantastic, and to be playing a 6 is not what you'd expect. Ashley Life, kind of exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the game here. If we're looking at, I mean, the action zone seems pretty sort of reasonable. They've had quite a few sort of shots or whatever. But if you look at the amount of touches, it's got 4 players that had more than 10 touches in a whole half. That's I don't know where this game is being played.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it might be a bit of a dogfight, really. And I say dogfight not in the relegation sense, as in the old Wimbledon of the 90s descent, where they're kicking each other a lot, because 5 DMCs versus 5 defensive midfielders versus 5 defensive midfielders. It looks like it might just be a kick and run, really, long ball.
I mean, yeah, that's so there's a couple of arguments going on there in the comments. Chudley played terrible first half. All of them, apart from Liverani, maybe. Yeah, I mean, Kudasov has had 2 touches. This is, I don't know. 5 DMs, you touched on it. Maybe some people use it.
It's interesting. I mean, I think Tim will be absolutely gutted with that performance there. He'd expect a lot more than that. Yeah. Tim, let's be right. Tim will be expecting to win this tonight.
I would have thought so. Yeah, would have thought so.
So he'll be gutted at half time and starting to get a little bit nervous. But do you mean I think his teams have improved in the second half in previous games. So
yeah, we'll see.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens in the second half. It's definitely still all to play for, unless Panathinaikos gets an early goal and kind of seals it off there. But we'll
see, there's a red card. That might be nice. Oh. And there's that man.
Some Nikiforenko goal. And Chudley Cannons not creating enough, I think.
Well, actually, Life might get one now.
Yeah, you never know. That and no red cards for Palmer's keeper tonight, which is lucky as he hasn't got a spare on the bench.
Has he not? He's been a brave man, has he?
Yeah, he's gone with that. That's 3-1. A little
Yeah,
bit.
I think the start and finish of it is I think everyone will be over the moon with the performance, but Palmer will take that absolutely. I mean, 3-1, great. I mean, he'd be over the moon with that. He'll. I mean, Ian Edwards just put huge result. I don't think it's as maybe trying to keep this kind of neutral head on, but I don't think it's as a bigger upset as many would say. I think at home he's got the job done. Yeah, well done to him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the player stats, Georgatos is certainly doing well on that wing back. I think their 5 DMs did a lot better job than Timmy's, unfortunately for him. I mean, they've gone with two such relatively similar formations, but with two such remarkably different results.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. He uses it, I'd say sparingly. I think he uses it every other week or so, the one at the back, but it seems to be doing well for him when he does use it. So, yeah, Cannavaro might not have had his best game, but the rest of the team really put a shift in.
The rest of them did, really
Yeah.
did. And if you look at the Chudley side, I mean yeah, Timmy's not going to be happy with this performance.
No, he's not at all. Yeah, Van Bommel and Liverani had a lot of the ball, but as did Vrede, if I'm not. Yeah, I think he'll be gutted. I think maybe the three up top away from home isn't, I don't know, the most wise. I don't know. Who am I to say kind of thing? But three up top, it seems relatively attacking to me. And maybe that's a home tactic rather than a away one. But I know Timmy tests these tactics out. He'll know that one at the back is a kind of an option which he goes with. So yeah, he'll be good with the performance. But yeah, he'll be planning for next week already, no doubt.
Yeah, I think we'll maybe see a return to a more
standard formation, maybe.
Standard or familiar. I mean, Palmer seems to have be the one of the few guys in the league who's really got these kind of like out of the box tactics actually working. Maybe not perfectly every time, but he has had some relative success. I mean, this one at the rear thing for some reason seems to be working out quite well for him, as you mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see what these teams come up with next week.
Yeah, an interesting thought is because they know Palmer's a bit out of the box with his tactics. Do teams sometimes do the same themselves and think I'll outthink him, when really they should just be. I'm not talking about this game in particular kind of thing, but I'm thinking maybe a standard tactic, maybe stuff or something that you use every week might be the way to go against Palmer rather than trying to outthink his wacky tactics. But I don't know. That's just an idea.
It certainly didn't work for I don't know how specific for Palmer this tactic was. I think Timmy has played it once before, but certainly didn't work for Swindon, and it didn't particularly work today. But yeah, I think Palmer will be happy with the 3 points. Apparently he's playing a flat 4-4-2 next week. We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Looks
Tim
like
needs to change it around though. He needs to do something. I mean, he's one of the pre-season favourites, was he, Tim? And that's 3 defeats on the bench. That he won't be happy with that.
I mean, his team played exceptionally well in the first. His team played exceptionally well in the first 3 games. They got 3 wins from 3, and then it's been.
I don't know about playing exceptionally well. They got 3 results. I don't know about. I'm just thinking about more of the game I played against him, where
fair enough.
He got the result. I'm not denying him that, but where he played particularly well is debatable. But anyway, either way, he'll be looking for an improvement.
Yeah, definitely. He started a lot better than he's managed to continue for sure. But looks like we're off to Wales next. And we've got the Dragon Destroyers, who still, I mean, I preferred the old name and the old logo, but we'll leave it at that, Jamie. It's fine. Jamie sticks with his tactic. It's like playing Alf, isn't it? Or Thiago. You know what formation you're going to be up against.
Yeah, I'll first off say that I hope that everything's all right with Jamie. I think I'm not splitting him out. Hopefully he's not a bit too down about the rugby result today. I'm a bit gutted for them, actually. I watched the game this morning. About the tactic, it's kind of something that you kind of expect from him. Again, he's got a strong team. He's gone with the 3 DMCs, which, I mean, from the last game, we know that can work, that can't work. It's the two. It's the right winger, Giovanni. Is he really all that? Is Cassano really an AMC? But overall, I think he's got an all right team. That's what I'll say about it. It's an all right team. It's not a bad team, but I don't think it's a title challenging team.
Yeah, I think he's he's lacking options in that AMC role. I think Robbie Keane played it and then got injured after having a relatively good start to the season. So I think he's just trying to make the most of what he's got because he's religiously sticking to this tactic. Viduka is yet to score, I think.
He's a good player though. I mean, I always get this now. Viduka seems to bang him in on my saves, so I've never really had him myself too many times, but he's a prolific scorer. I know he's not really done it in the Super League. He sticks with Montella. I think Montella scored last week. He's one of these who, whenever I've signed him, he's never been great for me yet. He seems to win FIFA World Player of the Year first couple of seasons. So he's definitely got the goals in him, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be short of goals. I agree that he's missing a really quality AMC. I know we don't want to slag off Robbie King because we know what happens, and he kind of But Castano, I don't think's there, and I don't think Giovanni is really at the level at right wing.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
a relatively decent squad. But if they're up against a strong Valen side here, with Rio Ferdinand's still playing despite the unrest around him, a little bit like the Bartes situation. But he's got a strong setup here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a really strong setup. I think pre-season, probably a few people raised a few eyebrows because I think Andreas just seemed to want to do a deal no matter what, really, and no matter who he got in. But then we've kind of come to the end of the transfer window and looked at his squad and thought, actually, he knows what he's doing here because, that is a really strong 11. Roy Keane on this game is fantastic. Totti, Shevchenko, great players. Cafu, probably the best right wing back. Ferdinand within the top 5. Centre-backs, Toldo within the top 5. Goalkeepers, Juliano is no slouch. I think you look through that team, it's a real quality team. The question mark for me in that team is probably Nakata. Apart from that, I think it's a really, really solid lineup. It's great formation as well. I really like what he's done there. I don't know where he's got that idea from.
Yeah, it seems vaguely familiar. You're right. However, they're not exactly at the top of the table yet.
I think they will be, though.
You think they will be?
I think he'll be there or thereabouts. I think he's going to be one of the people to beat this season.
Yeah, and Shevchenko with only 1 goal in his first 4 games, is that something to worry about, or do you think he'll come good as well?
Yes, but I think it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think there's sometimes way too much focus goes on how many goals your striker puts in. If your team's winning and your striker's getting 7s and 8s, or 8s and 9s, then I think you don't care. I'm not. If we win 3-0, I know it's unlikely, but if we win 3-0 and my striker gets a 7 or an 8, I'm going to keep my striker in there, even if he doesn't score. Mm-hmm. 1 goal for Shevchenko. He might be disappointed in that, but as long as his team's winning, that's all he'll care about.
He should be happy. So we'll kick this one off in Wales and see if they can have a little bit more luck in the football this evening than they did in the rugby this morning against South Africa. Jamie will be hoping so for sure. Off to not the best of starts, maybe, with Totti getting an early goal for Valen here.
No, not a great start for the Welsh boys. Andreas' favourite player, Totti, so he'll be over the moon. I'm not too surprised with the goings on. Pretty 50-50 both starts so far. Oh, no penalty and an injury.
No penalty, is it? It's going to be, what can we do there? Mike Duff, is that the best? I do have instructions.
Where does Storin play? Oh, you've got instructions. I'll let you get on there.
Central defender Nakata off for Duff. Does that even make sense? Oh, that's for the red card. All right, there's no injury instructions. I was going to say, what's going on here?
So it's the same thing though. If he wants Mike Duff coming on at centre back, so I think we just got to go with that, haven't we?
We can't really do anything else, so that'll be fine. And there was a penalty not given there. And
it'd be interesting to look at that at half time, and you look like it was
I think it was Toldo. Was it Toldo that was involved in that?
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising, would it? I mean, I think Valen have got the referees in the pockets, haven't they? So,
well, that's certainly been alluded to in the past. Let's have a quick look at what happened there just before the injury. First of all, headed down by Nakata. Totti picked up the loose ball. That's fair enough. Kalatsa picked up the loose ball. Toldo clipped the feet of Kalatsa in the area. Mr. Sokolai turned down the claims for a penalty.
Mr. Sokolai is another one on the payroll of Half and Half podcast.
It would look like it.
Oh, Andreas has got this sussed. How much is it? I just want to know actually. How much are you paying the Half and Half boys, Andreas? Yeah, I seem to read in the comments.
There seems to be something slightly fishy with that. Dragons. I was going to say they've had the best of it. Perhaps not, but it's been very even so far, I think.
Yeah, relatively even. Again, it's a home game. You expect to win your home games, or at least you put in a performance. So I think Jamie, you're disappointed he's not been on top. Yeah, I think Andreas definitely the happier of the two managers of that at half time. But yeah, not been a bad performance really from either side.
Mm-hmm. And if we're looking at the Swedes, Toldo
getting an 8, yes.
Getting an 8 for getting away with giving away a penalty. So that's an interesting one.
Half and Half doing the match ratings as well. Totti getting an 8, he'll be happy with that. The assist coming from Nakata, who I had a bit of a pop-up pre-game. So, and the strange one there is Roy Keane only scoring a 6. He's probably been, I would hasten to say, probably his best player so far this season, Roy Keane. So
yeah, he does play him in an MC role rather than DMC this week. So maybe.
Oh yes, I didn't notice that. He's has a little switch around, hasn't he?
Yeah. Let's see if there's any more action in the second half, any more red cards or penalties or dubious decisions. If the Dragons get their keeper sent off now, then I think we might have to start an investigation. But we'll see what happens.
You mean there's no investigation on already?
Did you see the first?
What is going on here? This is it. This is not right. It's not right. This class. It's not right. Oh my word.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say. VAR is needed in the Super League. That's all I'm saying. Unlucky for Jamie. I think he.
Ferdinand fouls Montella by holding onto his shirt. Mr. Sokolai turned down the claims for a penalty.
This is unbelievable. Yeah, VAR definitely needed. Jamie will be gutted there. Probably deserved it. Yeah, at least a point there. Should have been spoiled shared. But guess what? Andreas has got the referees in his pocket. Therefore, he walks away with all 3 points. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's two red cards, 2 penalties and 2 red cards not given. That's harsh, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. It's a joke, and it's something that we should definitely. Can I put the complaint in for Jamie about the referee there? It's a ridiculous. I'm still a bit surprised. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you see it from time to time. You see it from time to time in your own games, and you can see claims for penalty turned down, claim for penalty turned down. You go in and see the comments, and it's kind of like gone down or appeared to have something or whatever it normally says. Yeah, sometimes it's obviously quite obvious, but this one, I mean, had his shirt pulled and the first one's even got exclamation marks, I think, on it, hasn't it? It's got 3 exclamation marks on it, and still nothing. Oh, that's a terrible day in the valleys. That's a terrible day. That's almost as bad as the rugby.
Yeah, Aster, he's going to be gutted. Deserved at least a point there. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to his dad there. He's been robbed.
Yeah,
been robbed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to go in and have a look and see how many Valin games that Chris Sokolai has been involved in. But that's a bit of a
I think
shocker.
it's not necessarily the individual referee. I think it's the entire setup here. It's because no matter who's refereeing him, he gets all the decisions. So I'm not.
Apparently, I missed showing the player stats for Valin side there. So apologies for that. I should have clicked on that.
Can you not just click onto the league table and go into results, and
Yeah.
it'll having to click on anything?
I guess I could. Oh, that's from last week. I can't be bothered. No, we'll play the next game. You can have a screenshot after. It's all good.
Okay, I'm just don't want anyone to miss out.
No, but it'll be in the packs after the game. So apologies for that. We are moving swiftly on because I'm just kind of conscious of the time again. So apologies for missing that. That was definitely not intentional. But we do have a bit of a deadline that we need to stick to as well at some point in this evening. However, big news coming out of Churchtown is that Roy Mackay has failed a fitness test and he doesn't make the squad today. So Robin come in his place.
Not a bad substitute to have, is it?
I was going to say that's not a terrible substitute to have. They conceded 3 against the Devils last week. Do you think? What do you think the chances are of them repeating that? I mean, they'd only conceded 1 in the first 4.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. Oliver Kahn had a bad day at the office, and now that doesn't happen too much in the first couple of seasons. Yeah, quality throughout the squad. I don't expect many goals conceded there. Tim Cahill is the only maybe weak point. Jans Jeremy's potentially, but yeah, he's good on the wings. He's frightening going forward, and his centre backs are solid. So he's got a strong team, and he's one that I pipped there. That will be definitely be in the playoffs. No questions there.
Yeah, I think both Cahill and Jeremy's are in for. I forget who it is, but I think they're both covering for injured players otherwise. But does he have Barry Ferguson? Maybe I can't remember. Either way, they're in for decent players. Standard tactics. Talking about standard tactics, Craig is going with his 4-1-3-2. Is that what it's called? 4-1-3-2. He seems to be getting some decent results out of it. We maybe spoke a little bit about this before with Timmy. Are some of the managers trying a bit too hard? Considering,
no question. It's do you mean the 4-1-3-2 is probably on if you're on a home save. You mean you're in Division 1, you're in the Premier League, and you've not got the best team and you're up away at Arsenal or whatever like that. It's the standard formation. It's what you go with because it's what's most likely to pull a result out. So there's always the question about whether something you do on a home save will work in the Super League. Now, obviously for some of us that's not the case, but if this is what he uses at home, which I've no doubt it is, and he's getting the job done with it there, then. And he's taking it into the Super League and it's doing the job there. It's a lot more standard, maybe a couple more arrows than what you'd see on a lot of the teams, but it's a standard tactic which is working well. Why would you change it?
That's true, and he has a bunch of injuries. I think he still has 5 first-team players out to consider as well. So I think he's doing his best with what he's got. Batistuta and Sigalko, is that the best front 2 in the league? Do you think?
He's up there. I think with Thiago's got Ronaldo and Anelka, which is, I think, it's a strange one because Batistuta is at the peak of his powers. Tizalco is probably 1 or 2 seasons away from that. So I think he's probably right to keep playing Tizalco to get his stats up. But yeah, I don't know if it was me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Luca Toni maybe in season 1 kind of thing. But yeah, Batistuta is probably one of the best strikers on the game first season.
Mhm. Well, we'll kick off the first half and see if the strike force can live up to it. Obviously, Churchtown showed last week that they can be vulnerable at the back, letting in a handful against, or sorry, three against Swindon. So let's see how it goes in the against Hoddesdon Hornets here. The franchise, is that what they're?
Yeah, that's what someone keeps calling them. But yeah, I can only see a home win here, so I don't know what's going to happen. But
And Robin getting a goal or two, do you think?
you'd say so, but yeah, it's hard to tell. It's a lot of action early in the game, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say this. We've had more 20 minutes more action in the first 20 minutes than we had in some halves in previously tonight, but no goals so far.
No goal. It's been a good game though. Half an hour gone on my screen, and it's really strong.
Yeah, I mean lots of chances for both sides by the looks of it.
Oh.
Nope.
Thought there was gonna be one then. Nope.
So it's kind of difficult when when there's something going on the whole time. You can't just sit and kind of chat away and let nothing happen. So a very busy first half. Churchtown getting the most of the chances. I thought Hodgson had more than the two. It looked like that, didn't it?
It definitely did look like that, and sometimes those shots on goal shots on target can be a little bit deceiving, and as my results will kind of allude to. Yeah, I think that Huddleston, two shots, two on target. He definitely had more of the ball than that. Definitely had more of the game than that. He looked for me as likely as Churchtown to score.
Yeah, I would have thought so as well.
But yeah,
We'll have a look
great.
at the.
I mean, and that's a very entertaining 0-0. That is a fantastic 0-0.
Yeah, I mean the back three. Maldini is out. I think he was struggling a little bit with fitness as well. So he's got Turam, Sylvester, and Oliver Kahn. They're all getting 8, so they're obviously back to his kind of uh, getting the opponents away from the goal and making sure they don't score. But he doesn't seem to have had much luck with the players going forward. I mean, there's a couple of 7s in there up front, but the whole midfield is a bunch of 6s.
Not good at all, is it? As you said, he's got some reserves in there, which he's probably not over the moon with. But yeah, it's a big game, this kind of thing. So he's not losing. His defence are putting in a shift. If he'd gone into half time a goal down, he'd be gutted. But I still think that he'll fancy himself to win this game.
Yeah,
I
and if
mean, Robin Larson, Van Nistelrooy going forward, you'd fancy him to score.
yeah, you would have thought so. Hornets, it's kind of more of the same really. The defenders are doing slightly worse, but they
Midfield
are not
slightly better.
perhaps slightly better in midfield. So there's not much in it. Batistuta and El Guerrero still on a yellow. We'll see. I'm not sure we even saw who was the referee. Angelo Nardi. I don't think we've encountered him before, but
I don't recognise his name.
so he's not.
Yeah.
He'll be in. Palmer will let us know. Palmer will keep us right about which referees can be trusted and which ones can't. So well.
Yeah. Hopefully we have a similar second half, but with a couple of goals
With a couple of goals in it.
to liven it up. Yeah, because it was a great first half, but
we'll see what happens. Oh, we've got the wrong view on. Well, it's Batistuta with the first goal of the night. Against the run of play, maybe? Against the run of stats.
Based on the first half stats, but yeah, it's well.
Unless the second half was appalling, but at least we got a goal.
Yeah, the complete opposite. A really entertaining first half with no goals, and then quite a boring second half with one goal. Yeah, as Craig's put there, boom, and I think that's a kind of. I've been right in saying it's probably a bit of relief, really, as in he's got a tough away game where he's been, I won't say outplayed, but he's definitely had the worst of it, and he's come away with 3 points, first away points of the season. He'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah, an away win. That's got to be. You got to be happy. You got to be happy with that if you can get that. Batistuta getting the 7, and yeah, I mean, happy with the result, but the performance.
I mean, he's away from home against Churchtown. I think if you're getting anything, you're happy to get all 3 points. You don't care what stats you've got. Yeah, I mean, he'll take that. He'll take his medicine, take the points, and
take that all day long, and
yeah,
and forget about it. Churchtown It seems to be the attacking players that didn't really work. Thuram getting a 9, but that's, you always hate that, don't you? When you lose 1-0 and one of your defenders get a 9, that's
Yeah,
pointless.
it's a little bit of a rubbing it in tactic. He'll be disappointed with the front three. Rudy Van, you'd expect. I mean, we said at halftime we expect goals from those front three, and none of them came. I think now's the time he's got to start looking at Michael Owen. He's got to start. I don't know what his reasoning. He needs to get. He needs to be winning these games. He needs to be winning your home games, and that's 2 games on the bounce now, where he's not capitalised on having the best of it really.
Yeah. If there's anything that kind of stands out to me, Estebaria maybe only getting a 6 and not getting anything out of it. I've been singing his praises for playing so well with the wing back, but I guess it is kind of difficult against that 4-4-3 or 4-1-3 kind of defensive setup. It is kind of difficult to get something out of your wing backs perhaps, but it's.
I suppose they don't have much defending to do. I'm just trying to do this in my head. They don't have much defending to do, so they're kind of like just knocking it around there. And then when they get attacking, then they've got fullbacks to deal with. So they probably, they probably got nothing to do defensively, and then they've got too much to do going forward. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but yeah, not the best performance from them. Not the best performance overall. I mean, if he'd have won that 1-0, you'd be looking at those, you'd be praising those defensive stats.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's lost it 1-0, so you're looking at the attackers, and they've not performed.
Yeah, and Batistuta, I think, consolidating his position at the top of the top scorers list. But we can maybe have a quick look at that after the last game, which is coming up now, which is Ardsley Celtic at home to Swindon Devils.
It's not the first game; that's the last game, right?
Yeah. So we've kind of been over this before. We've slacked off Hussein. Do you wanna give him another kick in?
No, I think he knows. I didn't slag him off. I just think he's got someone better. He's got better on the bench. He's got Roque Santa Cruz. He's got Juan Raquelme. I don't know who he's got in reserves, but I think they'd be better at this point of the game than Dario Hussein. I know a couple of people in the comments said they can get Hussein scoring. It's never happened for me. But yeah, I mean it's nailed on now that he's going to score tonight. So
true. And with regards to Swindon Devils, I mean, good result. Good for them to get 3 goals away from. Sorry, was it? No, I think it was at home last week against Churchtown. But either way, 3 goals was good to get against Churchtown. Elmander though, is there a purpose to this guy?
I think Hodds kind of got a tune out of him last season in the Super League. So he's not a bad player, but I'm talking about my personal preferences. He's got Sebastian Deisler on the bench there, who's a good player. A player which I think he already knows this, but a player which I'm very interested in. I don't know. I don't think Elmander is good enough. I think Joe's just alluded to that on the bench. Oliveira, a good player. Centre midfielder, maybe not. Yeah, and I agree with Ian there that my eyes aren't really working well with the. Can you actually see any of the numbers that he's got there?
No, I can't, and I can also not see what happens during the game. So it's we're just gonna have to go with it. Can be also getting a bit of hate in the comments there. So there's been a lot of hate for both teams. So if we're gonna, before we kick it off, if we're gonna say something positive, who's gonna win and who is going to be man of the match?
It'll be Ardsley Celtic win. Patrick Vieira or Dario Hussein man of the match.
Right, we'll kick it off and we'll see what comes out of. John Terry, the unlikely hero, with the first goal.
Yeah, what's he doing up there? Must be a corner, and I can't. As soon as Swindon get the ball, I can't see anything.
Can't see what's going on. Morientes, as you mentioned in the beginning, a good second striker, and he's on the score sheet already.
Yeah, he's a good player. I'm sorry. I apologise. I'm struggling with the colours.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's better on my phone.
Fortunately, I mean it's Ardsley who's had the most of the action. I wouldn't normally be so kind of biased, but at least I can see what's happening when they're doing something, and they are having pretty much all of it, to be honest.
Yeah, similar amount of text as the first half of the last game, except it was all for Ardsley. And yeah, that kind of looks like it. That's how it went down from the halftime stats there.
Yeah.
14 shots, 9 on target, 84% passes completed. Yeah, he's dominating first half performance.
Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, perhaps a bit surprising, because I don't think Swindon changed much since the game last week when they did quite well. But Ardsley, are they so much better than Churchtown? I don't know. Maybe Swindon just really need that home crowd behind them. But Ardsley are playing well. To be fair, I mean Patrick Vieira with a 9, outshining Dario Hussain, who's only got an 8. Assists coming from Seedorf, and it was probably ahead of a John Terry, wasn't it? Let's have a look.
Yeah, there should be an assist though, shouldn't there? Really, if there's a...
Yeah, Sowry whipped in the corner. Cole was there to apply the fish. A shot deflected off Zidane and to John Terry.
Right.
So
That's why the ball fell to Terry.
Yeah. Elmander with a 5.
But I think we're all very surprised here.
I think his
has he done any halftime instructions? Like,
if anyone gets a 5, they get subbed. So you get to see Deisler, I think, in the second half.
It's got to be better, hasn't it? It's got to be better.
Well, it can't be. Well, it can be worse, but it's unlikely. Let's see how the second half goes.
I hope we see a improved performance. I hope he makes a game of it. I think he's got a better 11 out now than he started with. I like Steve, and I hope he gets something here. But from the first half performance, it's not very likely.
We'll see what happens in the second half. It seems as if Ardsley have gone off to a reasonably good start, but Se Roberto's coming forward a little bit. I saw his name, but
there's Clarence there again.
Yeah, I mean, Oliveira with a goal. It's a goal.
Yeah,
it could still be 3-3 again.
Yeah, I think the word of the week is consolation, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. That's Morientes getting a second on his debut.
Yeah, it's still all Ardsley, isn't it? Really. Oh, it's another one. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And look,
another one where he basically you're going to take someone off now, and he's going to end up with a better goalkeeper in that than he started the game with.
That's a valid point. And Seedorf puts that one away, and then Seedorf gets injured. So
did he miss the original penalty? Then put in the rebound, I think. But
yeah. How was that? Oh, we can't see that yet. I'll have a look at that after the game, but we get Riquelme in to play it out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of danger that it's going to go pear-shaped.
No, and Hussain got a goal disallowed. You'll be pleased to have noticed.
I'm a bit gutted really for Fifey. Obviously, I don't think he'll have expected much as far in terms of results, but I think he'll have expected a better performance.
I mean, if we're looking at the goals, as you mentioned, he's perhaps not got his best keeper on to start. Seedorf passed it, Morientes scored. Nothing the keeper could do there. I think there was a drop one here. Wright beat the ball away. Oliveira. It doesn't really say much about Wright, to be honest, but as you mentioned, when he got sent off, he probably got a better keeper on.
Yeah, I'd love to have a week. I'd love to have a week just to say, come on, let's give him a lineup and let's see how good his team are. Because do you mean he's got some players in his 11, which it shouldn't be, and he's got players on the bench which should be, kind of thing. So, and I don't think he's putting on the thing there. We are the worst team in the Super League. I disagree with him. I think he's. Do you mean I'm not going to say he's the best, but I don't think his 24 are the worst in the league. I think he's got some good players in there. But as Joe alluded to, they're not playing for him, or he's not playing the right players.
And interesting. There's a couple of 10s. Oh, sorry.
Both Joe and Fifey lost the dressing room about a second after each other.
Which perhaps.
Commanding performance at home, nothing less than what you'd expect. Great performance from Vieira, Seedorf, Candelar, 2 from Morientes. I think it's what Hadji would have expected.
I mean, he'll be pleased with that in the absence of Tristan, that Morientes came in and got the 2 goals.
Yeah, he'll be. I mean, for me, I'd probably start Morientes over Tristan anyway. But yeah, I know I'll probably get a bit of flack for that. But yeah, I don't think Morientes is a bad striker at all, and he'd definitely be in or around my starting 11.
Yeah, with a game so convincingly won, if you're Joe Cole and only getting a 7, in part as a part of such a dominant performance, does that mean that Joe Cole won't be making an appearance next week? Do you think? I mean, that you can't be happy with that, especially when you got Riquelme on the bench.
I think the idea is you look at. I mentioned this about. I think it was Shevchenko kind of thing not getting the goals. I think if your team puts in a performance like that, you are looking for the negative and saying, "Oh, Joe Cole could have done better. Martin Lewison could have done better. Could we have got a clean sheet?" But let's face it, they won 5-1. They never the win never looked in doubt. I wouldn't be making wholesale changes to a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I wouldn't touch Joe Cole. I think he's. I mean, the only way I'd touch him if he wants to sell him to me, that's fine. But you should be starting him every week, and I think he will be doing. I mean, I think you've got to do something to try and accommodate them both, because Riquelme should be starting as well. But yeah, it's. I mean, he's got a wealth of options there.
He's definitely has got. If we're looking at the Swindon team, I mean, Oliveira did okay, as Fifey's mentioned in the comments there. I always lose the midfield battle, and as Joe says, it's because you play Zidane, Elmander, and Cambiaso.
Well, let's be honest, Elmander should not be. I mean, if he's concerned about the midfield battle, let's sign a midfielder for him. Let's get in. I mean, someone slide into his DMs. If you're not playing a centre midfielder and you want one of his, do you mean you want Ugo Eki or whatever like that? Because Zinedine Zidane's great attacking midfielder. Oliveira not a bad attacking midfielder. Cambiaso, I mean, I think did Fifey put him as one of the marquee players before the season? Well, he's not a bad midfielder, but he's definitely not a marquee player. So yeah, I think it's somewhere he definitely needs to shore up.
Room for improvement with the squad selection, basically.
Yeah. West, Elmander, and Ardsley all get a warning for poor performance, please. Ardsley, I mean, the Ardsley substitute, man. He can't have a go at a substitute. I mean, he's come on and he's fought. What score was it? Half time? 2-0?
Yeah, he came on for Elmander. Anyway, I mean, it's a win for Ardsley. There's not much to it. They had 25 shots, 18 on target. I
think for Richard Wright, who got the red cards, 5 feet. Don't want to give him a bollocking as well
for letting in 4 goals and a red card. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with the Devils next week. Maybe he'll shake it up a little bit, the starting 11 or the tactics or something. We'll see what comes out of it. But again, I should stay as neutral as possible. But the squad selection is not right, to be fair, with the players that are available. But we'll see what comes next week.
Okay.
So after all that chat in the beginning about not getting away wins and not getting various other things, draws, etc., we got 2 away wins and a draw.
2 away wins. Every away team scored a goal tonight, which
scored exactly one goal. Yeah, that's a nice bit of uniformity there. Let's have a look and see what that does to the league. Anything you would consider a big upset here, apart from your own heroic performance?
I wouldn't consider that an upset, definitely. I think the Hodds away win at Churchtown a bit of an upset. I think beyond that, I don't think there's anything which is too surprising. I think maybe a few people might think that Joe's victory at home to Chudley is a bit of an upset. I don't think it's that much of an upset. I think they're both good teams. Could have gone either way. Apart from that, I think it's nothing too surprising. Yeah. Valen doing what Valen do, which is win games.
And looking at what that means for the table, it doesn't do you a huge amount of good. You're not quite isolated with the bottom 2, but
we'll start looking at the table. I think after 13 games, and we can. That's a halfway point, and that's when we can start really seeing exactly where we're at. I mean, yeah, I think both myself, Ian at BTEC, and probably Timmy, and even Hodgie probably be disappointed where we are. Panathinaikos exactly where he thought he was going to be, and exactly where he'll finish up. And yeah, I think there's not many overachievers, Midlothian potentially, and Hods probably maybe a little bit ahead of where they expected to be, but you can't knock them. They've got 12 points, they're winning the games, and it's all about results. So.
Yeah, and let's see with the there's only Midlothian and Hooligans are the only two teams who've had four home games, so that's obviously if anything is making it look a little bit better than maybe it is than Midlothian with their 12 points at home and they're 0 points away, that may be skewing it a little bit, but apart from that, it's going to be tricky for the teams in the bottom half. They're going to have to start beating the teams in the top half if they want to get in there.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, this is no easy league. You've got to. You can't. There's not. I mean, you can't go into any game thinking, "Oh, I'm away against Churchtown, away against Midlothian. I'm probably going to lose this one." You've got to try and get something everywhere, because if you're not going to get something and if you're not going to try and get something in every single game, then you're not going to get anywhere near the playoffs. Do you mean?
No, that is true.
It's going to be. It's a tough league, and it's. Do you mean? I mean, you can make a case for, I think, 10 of the teams in that league, maybe 11, of why they should be finishing top 6. And you make a case for 3 or 4 of them why they should be winning it.
Yeah, and in the end, there's only going to be 6 teams in the playoff section, isn't there? So it will be
6 teams in it, and then 1 winning it. So it's.
It'll be interesting to see. If we look quickly at the fixtures that we've got coming up on Wednesday night, we've got Aster Athletic home to Churchtown. That's going to be a big one. Kieran's going to be at his best to try and get back into it, isn't he?
Yeah, he needs to kind of put that defeat behind him and get a team out to kind of negate the threat of Alpha. Where Alpha will be back, all firing on cylinders. I'm sure Emerson will be back in. Yeah, I think Alf will be looking to, I'll say, bounce back like he's been defeated. He's not, but he'll be looking to put that draw behind him, which is and then yeah, he's got another home game. I think he's had a few home games on the bounce now. So
yeah.
Actually, I'm not saying. Actually, I think he was away at Chudley, but yeah, that's a big game. 2 teams I think will be up there.
Mm-hmm. BTEC welcoming Panathinaikos to their home ground. BTEC, I mean, they'll be looking to get some points in that one, or how do you see that one going? Parma's team going quite well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Parma. Yeah, I think he's. I mean, it's win 1, lose 1, isn't it, with Joe? So yeah, if he's away from home against BTEC, I think he'll fancy himself, but I think that's a home win all day long. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I can see you've probably already got your eyes on the next one. Set your own home game against Ardsley. So Ardsley will be coming in full of confidence after that 5-1 victory there. I'm presuming you'll try and make it a little bit more difficult for them than Swindon did tonight.
Yeah, it's always a tough one after you come up against a team with just a big win. I will take a little bit of a hope from the fact that Ardsley haven't been great away from home so far this season. I think I don't know if the home league and the away league table. I think they've won all the home games, lost all the away games. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that trait continues. Yeah, it'll be. I mean, Ardsley, I think I said pre-season have got the best 24 in the league and one of the best starting 11s in the league. Hopefully, he's still got a few injuries. I think it'll be a tough game. Mm-hmm. I'll put a team out to win, as I always do.
And Timmy will be doing the same as he welcomes the Dragons to his, I forget the name of the stadium. Either way, the Dragons.
Which no one understands, but oh no, Chudley Cans, they play at the Crayola Arena. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think he'll be. He's 3 defeats on the bounce. I'll say that again: 3 defeats on the bounce now for Chudley after he kept taking the piss out of me for that. Yeah, he needs to bounce back, and I think he'll fancy himself at home now.
And a difficult one for Midlothian, who, as we mentioned, haven't had the best away form so far. They go to the Hornets, which is going to be a tricky one, I think, for them. It's probably like the closest we get to a top of the table clash, with third against fifth here, apart from first against sixth, maybe. So an important one for both teams. But do you see Midlothian getting anything, or are they just going to stick to winning all their home games and hope that'll be enough?
I don't know if they win all their home games, that will most definitely be enough. But I don't think that'll happen. I think the run's going to start getting a bit trickier for Midlothian now. He's going to need to start scoring more goals. I think that's going to be the issue for them. I think defensively they're going to be sound. So if he can start scoring more goals, and then Midlothian won't have any problems at all. He got 3 tonight, didn't he? But yeah, there we are.
Yeah. And Swindon Devils are going to welcome an in-form hooligan side. That's also perhaps not promising, but could they repeat their performance of the 3-3 against Churchtown and get something from this one?
I think it's. I mean, Swindon Devils could win that game. Do you mean, or they could give themselves a chance of winning that game? It just depends on who and how they line up. If they line up how they did tonight with those players, then they're going to get beat. If he makes a few changes, not many changes, a few key changes to his tactics and the players he's picking, then he's got a chance. That's all. That's all I'll say, kind of thing. I think Hooligans, yeah, as you've alluded to, good team on form. They're going to be, no matter who you put out there, they're going to be tough to beat. They're going to be tough to get anything against. But do you mean if he goes how he did tonight, 5-4, then he's going to get beat? Similar score, 4 or 5-1. If he makes a few changes, then yeah, he gives himself a chance.
Another team who might struggle to get something is our Sloth friends. They're taking a trip to Sweden this time. That's also not an easy place to go. Andreas and the referee, the entire referee association, that's always a tough opponent.
Yeah, this is how I feel about Sloths. Actually, I'll say that each week we kind of say that the wins come in, the points come in. He's going to get the, and each week I look at who he's against, and I think actually that's not very likely. It's not very likely. It's not very likely. And he's not had the easiest start of the season run. I will say that to him. He's had some tough games, but it's, as you said, it's not getting any easier. Away in Sweden, against a really strong Valen team, and I can only see it going one way. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, again, I'll be very surprised if that isn't a convincing home win.
Yeah, well, we'll see. There's definitely going to be some interesting games. Difficult to see a lot of away wins, maybe. I don't know. We might be back to a lot of home wins. We'll see what comes up. But anyway, that's how the fixtures lines up, and they'll be for Wednesday. So for any manager still listening out there, then the packs will be out for you guys very shortly. And teams need to be in basically just as soon as possible, so we can get that on the road, that show on the road. So game tonight, game again on Wednesday night, and game again on next Sunday evening. So coming thick and fast now, and the packs,
Brilliant.
as I say, will be out for that shortly. Basically, just to keep us in line for a half. For being halfway through the season at Christmas, really. Quick look at the average ratings here. Lee Boyer is the dominant figure of the league. Who would have guessed it prior to the start of the season? Not me. 867 average. That's pretty good.
I think, yeah, that entire front page is fantastic. Patrick Power is the big surprise there, I think. 8.17 after this many games, and for a player which I've never really given much of a second thought to. Anelka, Roy Keane, there's some really good players in there. Marius Nicolai is a really big one as well, but I think you've got to look at Aster, and they've until tonight they've won every game. So
and they've got 5 of the top 6. So
yeah, and Roy Mackay, who's injured, has had a really good start to the season. But yeah, good. Decent.
And top scorers, Batistuta, like we mentioned, consolidating his spot at the top of the pile with 7 goals. That's perhaps not a big surprise. Eversand still with 4. And Nikiforinkov, they both scored again today. So Palmer's really going to be happy with that. And Impensa now with 5. Tristan, of course, didn't get a chance to add to it. Totti, the best of the AMCs with 4 as well. So it's a few well-known names in there. Again, Lee Boyer with 3. What's Lee Boyer doing?
I don't know. I look at that page, and there's a 14. I was trying to think who I think might be the end of the season, and I think you're looking at Batistuta and Smith, yes, and Penza, yes, Tristan probably not. I don't think Nicky Franco or Stan will be there. Maybe Clivert might get a few more. Rossini's definitely going to get a few more for the Cannons. But beyond that, I think the midfielders will drop off, and we're going to get some more strikers coming through with goals. I mean, it'd be nice. I think if I had a striker scoring, that'd be good tonight. But I've not had that yet.
That's true. And finally, with the assists, everyone's got 3 assists, so there's not really much to talk about there. I think we'll leave it at that, Ryan. We've almost done 2 hours, a couple of technical issues, and a few other things, bits and bobs. So thanks for everyone who stuck with it until the bitter end. And thanks very much, Ryan, for joining me on the comms. And
I apologize again for the computer issue at the start. I think if I'm on the comms again in the future, then I'll use my phone, which is obviously works out quite a bit better because I can kind of watch the actual live show on YouTube and see where the rest of the watchers are at, as well as looking at my phone because we're a few seconds ahead. So it's thank you very much for looking after us, and thank you for everyone watching. And who have you got on Wednesday? Have you got a co-com?
It's actually it was meant to be a review show, so we'll see if they're still up for it. But it's meant to be Hodgie and Rob, so that could be interesting.
Very good. That would be very good. Yeah.
It could be interesting. Stay tuned for more information on that. And thanks to everyone watching. Thanks very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
It's good night from the Super League. Good night.
Good night.